So after a long ride,
go out there during the Hajj in Saudi Arabia that took the lives of about 2,400 plus individuals. To international students who have been asking me, Milton, I want to know how much I need to study in Norway this year. Well, this is the video, and please, if you really want to move to Norway this year, or if you are thinking of moving to Norway, this is what you need to know. And I want to also assure you that since this year they didn't change the amount, okay, for proof of funds, probably by next year it would change. So now, if you apply for any school, or if you know somebody who applied, or if your family member applied, this video is for them. Proof of funds to study in Norway has increased from the previous years, and also understand that the universities in Norway are now charging tuition fee, so you have to pay tuition. Now, remember, these figures I'm going to be giving to you now and the methods you are going to use, they do not include your tuition fee for 1 year or 1 semester. So if you are charged, like if you apply for a program and you have to pay, let's say, 5,000 euros for 1 semester or 1 year, before you arrange this money, you must have paid the tuition. Or if you are not paying the tuition, make sure you arrange this money now, then you also arrange the tuition separately. I hope you understand. Let's move forward. For you to study in Norway as an international student, you need to show the Norwegian government that you are capable of having 13,790 Norwegian krone per month. Remember, this is per month. And now for 1 year, it will be 151,690 Norwegian krone for 1 year. Now, that 13,790 in euros is 1,168 euros. It's even cheap than the Netherlands. For the Netherlands, you need to show 1,250 plus. Then for 1 year, the 151,690 Norwegian krone is equivalent to 12,856 euros. So this is the money you need as proof of funds for 1 year. If your program is maybe 1 year or 2 years in Norway, you need to show this money. I am still coming. Don't rush. We are not rushing. Now, if you are going to be studying in Norway for 1 semester, you need to show the Norwegian government that you have at least 68,950 Norwegian krone, which is approximately 5,843 euros. Remember, these figures I'm giving you now, it's due to today's exchange rate. If the exchange rate changes tomorrow, the amount is going to change. So don't forget that. And this money I just told you now, this 5,843 euros is for those who want to study in the autumn semester. I mean 1 semester. If your program is just 1 semester, this is the money you need for autumn. Now, if your program is for spring, you need to show the Norwegian government that you have 82,740 Norwegian krone, which is approximately 7,000 euros for spring intake. That is your own proof of funds if you are going to be studying for spring for 1 semester, just one. Now, remember, these figures I just gave you now, you cannot have these figures in your home bank account, like in your home country. No. These are the methods. The money can be in the form of a student loan. The money can be in the form of a grant. The money can be in the form of your own funds, like you have your own money. Now, guys, let me quickly make this video for my people. Now, someone was asking me yesterday, let me see what the question was. The person said, "Hello Milton, you said you are in the Netherlands and at the same time you say you are in Germany. What is happening?" Okay, I totally understand that this person didn't actually know what it takes to be in the Netherlands. Now, let me tell you that the Netherlands is an EU country and it's equally a Schengen country, okay? Now, what basically happens is that in the EU, and in the Schengen zone, okay, you can literally enter any of the countries that are members. Like if you go to a country that is in the EU and in the Schengen, you have the right as a student. I beg your pardon, let me illustrate this based on study visa or study opportunities. So if you are in, let's say you travel to the Netherlands and you are studying in the Netherlands as a student, you can go to Germany, Poland, Sweden, Czech Republic, Spain, other EU countries, Hungary, Slovenia, Slovakia, every country, right? Germany, Belgium, you understand? All these countries are members of the EU and the Schengen zone. So basically, you can travel to these countries for free. You don't need a visa again. I'm now trying to respond to this person who was asking me all these questions. Okay, because according to them, you cannot be in the Netherlands and you are in Germany at the same time. No, it doesn't work that way. So that's what happened when you reside in any of these places. I think there are countries, there are about 28 of them. I'm not very certain, but that is what can happen. Okay, so as I'm talking to you now, with my visa, with my international passport or my residence permit, I can go to Germany, Spain, Poland, Czech Republic, Slovenia, Slovakia, any country. I think there are 28. I can go to 29 countries in Europe now for free. I don't need a visa. Then I can also go to Mexico for free. I don't equally need a visa. Someone was telling me, oh, Milton, you are in the Netherlands. Why don't you go to America? To go and do what in America? The way you want to live your life is not the way some other people want to live their lives, okay? So that is something you should note. Now, let me also draw your attention to this. Some other countries are in Europe, but they are not members of the Schengen zone. No, they are not members of the European Union. Now, I'm going to elaborate a bit. Let me talk about this a bit. Who is this? Okay, so if you are, let's say you want to move to maybe Serbia, right, with the intention that at the end of the day you are going to move to EU, it's not going to work. The reason is simple. Serbia is not a member of the European Union, and now you are not permitted to move to Serbia with a visa, a student visa. You cannot move like that. It doesn't work that way. So anybody telling you, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this, it doesn't work. So don't listen to them. This is just an advice I'm giving you, so you should know. Because at the end of the day, they will tell you so many things that do not exist. Yeah, that is a fact. Now, another thing you should understand is I don't always recommend people to go to Russia. Also, I cannot recommend Belarus. The reason is simple. These places, they are equally not members of the Schengen zone, or they are not members of the European Union. So at the end of the day, if you want to enter any of these countries, you would have to also be doing one process or the next. All right, Russia, Belarus, Cyprus, Turkey, you still need visas. I was in Cyprus before. When I wanted to move to Germany, I had to go to Turkey to apply for a visa, and still yet I didn't get the visa. That's why most of the time I keep telling you that don't go to any of these places, because I've been there. I am sharing my experience with you so that you don't fall into the same traps that I fell into. Okay, please listen to advice. It's very important. Now, another thing you should note is that when you travel to the Schengen zone or the European Union, it is going to be somehow easy for you to move within one country in the European Union or the next. Now, what am I trying to say? Let's put it this way. If you move to Belarus, right, for you to move to another country, or probably let's say you are in Russia, for you to move to another country, or let's say you're in Cyprus, for you to move to EU, you cannot just move like that. Okay, for example, I was in Germany last December. I just had to use my visa. They didn't even ask me anything, but just the fact that you're in EU, you can always find your way, right? But now, if you go to these countries, it's not gonna be easy. Okay, you cannot cross the borders like that. That's the way it works here. So guys, put these things into consideration. Now let's go back to the other video. Okay, I'm going to say some things at the end of this video, so please, I expect you to listen to the advice very seriously.